Hello everyone, this is Marty Wood, President of the Insurance Institute of Indiana. Obviously I'd much rather be meeting with you all personally, as attending the PIA conference each year is a highlight. It's a great conference and it's always good to have the interaction, and hopefully next year we'll get back to that. In the meantime, I wanted to give you an update on activities that have taken place in government affairs here in Indiana regarding the insurance industry. Seems that it was much longer than just 6 months ago that the legislative session ended and the Indiana General Assembly adjourned, but it was just 6 months ago. The session got over just in time for all of us to go into our lockdowns back in early March. But the legislature did get to address a number of issues that were important to the insurance industry. One of the key issues that we worked on from the Insurance Institute standpoint was the distracted driving legislation. We now have a hands-free law in Indiana. We also worked on legislation dealing in the insurance omnibus bill, dealing with a variety of things, which included cybersecurity, an important issue for both agents and companies alike. Indiana has taken the model legislation that had been put together by the National Association of Insurance Commissioners and kind of put a Hoosier touch on it, which is much more friendly to the industry, making sure that none of the burdensome proposals that had come out of the NAIC model on agents in particular were included. So there is nothing that requires agents to compel third parties to have be in compliance with the cybersecurity law. Instead, we simply have a good cybersecurity law that makes sure that policyholders and consumers are protected while working with the insurance industry through the insurance department. It also takes cybersecurity out of the hands for an insurance industry from the Attorney General's office and doesn't leave it in place just with the Department of Insurance. Another part of that omnibus bill that was passed this session deals with UM/UIM, and it's kind of a clarification for excess policies. When an offer is made on a UM/UIM policy, the underlying policy levels that are offered and subsequently rejected, the new law will state that any excess policy that is also offered would be rejected by the rejection of that underlying policy. One of the issues that we were not, unfortunately, able to pass this session, and we believe we'll be going back into sometime in the near future, is trying to get ambulatory surgical centers under the workers' compensation fee schedule. Unfortunately, that one came down to the last days of session, and ultimately we had to make the choice to go ahead and pass the cybersecurity law and make sure that the agents were protected within that law as opposed to passing the ASC language. So we'll be going back into that sometime in the hopefully near future. Moving off of the legislature and onto regulatory items, obviously this has been uncertain times for everybody, and that was in particular in place when the governor first put forth his executive order dealing with COVID, and a lot of what we dealt with there was dealing with business interruption coverage. At this point in time, Indiana remains one of the states that does not mandate anything be done on business interruption. We're hoping that there will be federal action at some point taken to clarify all of that, but we have had many discussions with the Department of Insurance as well as the governor's office, making the argument for why certain aspects of business interruption are excluded, in particular pandemics, as well as government action. And the Department of Insurance was a great partner in making sure the governor's office understood what the real impact would be if they came out with some kind of mandate that business interruption was covered with pandemics. So hats off to the Department of Insurance on that. In the meantime, at those early stages, the governor did, in his executive order, put a moratorium on any cancellations for policies. That was a 2-month period where there were no cancellations. That has since expired. We have worked with the Department of Insurance, and there is no intention of bringing back another moratorium. Obviously, those 2 months made sense, but at the same time, going on further than those 2 months would become problematic for both agents and companies to have the inability to cancel for non-payment. We also had a period of time where there was a embargo on any rate increases in Indiana. That has since gone by, and no later than the middle of September, it was understood that when a company needs to file for rate increases, those rate increases will be considered by the department and allowed to be put into place. So what we're looking forward to now is what's going to happen in 2021, and right now nobody really knows. We don't even know how session's going to progress as we go into 2021. How will committee hearings be held? How will the legislature meet? One thing we do know is that one of the key issues, both for the insurance industry, many other industries, as well as the legislature, is going to be dealing with liability issues coming from COVID. The Insurance Institute and our agent partners are part of a large coalition of groups who are going to be seeking to make sure that there is liability protection from frivolous lawsuits in what has transpired during this COVID period. This goes for medical providers, both the individual providers as well as the facilities. For businesses who have repurposed for purposes of providing help with COVID items like masks or hand sanitizer. We know the trial lawyers will be out in full force to try to fight any protections on liability, but we've had a lot of contact with both the governor's office and legislative leaders, and we're confident that we will be able to get something done this coming session. This session is going to be a difficult one. Not only is it a budget year coming off of the election, but it happens to be the first session after the turn of the decade, and therefore there was a census taken, and there will be redistricting done this session. So coming up with focus on individual issues is going to be difficult, but we are very confident that the liability issue will be one that legislative leaders will make a priority. As always, we're available for you to contact us. You can work through Scott and the PIA staff, or always feel free to contact us at the Insurance Institute directly. We look forward to getting back to normal a little bit, and hopefully next year at the PIA conference we'll be able to meet in person and have a dialogue as we have in the past. Thank you for your time.